While the students finish pinning on their Humanism in Medicine pins, it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for the class of 2017 White Coat Ceremony. As I mentioned, our own graduate from the class of 2003, Major Camille McGann. Major McGann is an assistant professor in radiology here at the Uniformed Services University of the Health Sciences. She serves on the Dean's Diversity Advising Group and is a mentor to USIS students. Dr. McGann is also an instructor in the medical effects of ionizing radiation course and a subject matter expert regarding radiation effects at the Armed Forces Radiobiology Research Institute. She's board certified in radiation oncology. Previously, Dr. McGann has served as the Assistant Chief of Radiation Oncology at Walter Reed Army Medical Center and as Chief of the Radiation Oncology Clinic, which she opened at the new Fort Belvoir Community Hospital. Dr. McGann is passionate about cancer awareness and prevention. She's the founder and president of Legacy Health Educators, a nonprofit organization developed to bridge the patient-physician gap in cancer treatment communication. Major McGann.
To members of the official posse, Dr. Longacre, Dr. Kellerman, Colonel Glass, Dr. McKay, and Lieutenant Commander Martin, staff, family, and friends, good morning to you. Congratulations to you, class of 2017. I will not be long before you today. It is my hope to share with you a few important points from my life's experience and hope you will indulge me a moment to speak from my heart. It is indeed quite an honor to be the guest speaker at your White Coat ceremony today. It was only a few years, well, a little bit more than a few years, when I stand where you are now. I recall feeling excited and ecstatic to begin what I thought was the real deal, clinicals. Donning my white coat brought me one step closer to practicing medicine and taking care of America's elite athletes, our soldiers, airmen, sailors, Marines, retired and active, other members of the armed forces, government officials, and their families. I was ready to see patients, make diagnosis on the spot to impress my residents and staff, be the first one in and the last one to leave, but always ready to greet everyone with a warm smile. As you too will discover, a few weeks into one busy rotation will quickly adjust those lofty ideals. Sleep became a luxury, giving that up for studying instead, with many promises to catch up on my sleep deprivation after residency. For you, that would be about 7 years or so. In those moments when you're tired and exasperated, not sure why, it will not be easy, but know that it is all worth it. Press on. One thing that kept me grounded and remained a solid foundation for me over the years is my love for people and the bedrock of compassion. Your white coat may be seen by many as a cloak of healing and a symbol of knowledge. I urge you to consider this an honor. Do not allow your position to foster thoughts that fuel pride or be a source for pretentious behavior. As noted earlier, in the medical profession, we are charged to cure sometimes, relieve often, and comfort always. In essence, to show compassion. The etymology of compassion is Latin from the word patior, meaning co-suffering or to suffer with. Patients today often note that compassion is an area where many physicians lack. This is an area patient notes a persistent deficit, and we can do something about that. Physicians are increasingly relying on technological knowledge and procedures. We must use technology, but never in a way that neglects our patients. Never in a way that neglects their emotional and social issues which make a patient unique. You may have heard the adage, patients do not care what you know until they know how much you care. We begin to show our patients care and compassion through listening. Truly listening to your patient is a form of respect. The Chinese symbol to listen is embodied by 3 words: the ears, the eyes, and the heart. To listen requires that you hear what is spoken by your patient. To listen requires that you see the body language and nonverbal communication and cues from your patients. To listen requires that you have empathy. It requires that you engage your heart. As noted by Epictetus, a Greek sage and Stoic philosopher, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth and should use them in that proportion. I would briefly like to speak on 3 areas of compassion. Compassion for your patients, compassion for your family, and compassion for yourself. Let's consider one of my personal encounters with a patient. I had the distinct pleasure of serving a 78-year-old Asian woman, non-smoker, who was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. She had a mass in her mediastinum that was pressing on her trachea that was making it very difficult for her to breathe. Oncology consultation prompted an immediate visit. She was frightened and tearful. She relayed that she was never sick, never smoked or used non-tobacco products, and does not understand what and why this is happening to her. She was terrified of the prognosis previously given of only a few weeks to live. When asked my prognosis, I told her with sincerity, "I do not know how long you have to live, ma'am. Quite frankly, you could possibly outlive me. I have to travel the Beltway home. The disease is not curable, but we can do much for you. The fact that you're otherwise in good health with minimal comorbidities, we believe you will tolerate treatments of radiation and chemotherapy well. With my healing radiation beam, we will attempt to shrink the tumor and help you to breathe better." She agreed. 7 months later, after radiation and chemotherapy, she came in for a follow-up. She gave me the longest, warmest hug I've ever received and thanked me for giving her hope. Sometimes, all you may have to offer your patients is hope. Not false hope, just a promise to do the best you can, to join forces with them against the disease process, whatever it may be. Treating patients with tenderness and caring can relieve much of their emotional suffering. Knowing your patient is the art of medicine. Do not be afraid to apply compassion when tackling the tough topic of death and dying. I give great honor to my mentor and friend, Dr. Simon Oster, who through his class, Human Context in Healthcare, helped me to grapple with such difficult topics in reviewing my treasured papers from Dr. Oster's class back in 2000. The topic of when a patient dies caught my attention. A challenging topic, my thoughts back in 2000 were as follows. The idea of a patient's death scares me. Frankly, the whole idea of someone dying while under my care is rather terrifying to imagine. It is my hope to one day be a great physician, but to attain that status requires a good physician-patient relationship. This kind of relationship, however, may prove to be an inherent part of dealing with a patient's death. My major concern surrounds the prospect of becoming vulnerable. That is to say, to emotionally involve with my patient that their death would leave me traumatized. Besides that, just thinking about a patient's death causes me to think about my own mortality. I too, one day, will become a statistic. Not a very pleasant thought. However, such thoughts have made me realize just how precious life is and have made me more appreciative of everything around me. The negative side of this is that I do not wish to live my life in fear of death. But I really cannot ignore the prospectus. It is rather difficult not to think on such things, even now while I'm in medical school. And I expect the degree of difficulty to increase when I become a physician. Thank you, Dr. Oster, wherever you are out there, for allowing me to have such in-depth self-realization long before having to encounter my patients who were diagnosed with cancer. You have surely helped shape America's medical school and many of America's elite physicians. Class of 2017, you must also show compassion to your family. You are here today because of your family's committed love, sacrifice, and support. Do not sell them short in thinking that they will not understand the fears and struggles that you have and or will face. Discuss with them how things will change for a moment or for the next few years. Encourage them to connect with you, check on you sometimes. Ask for what you need and or want to keep your tank above half. In creating a study schedule with one of my mentees, we include time to sleep. 4 hours is good, 6 is golden. Playtime with his son, and time with his wife, which he affectionately referred to as wifey time. During these upcoming years, it is imperative to maintain an open communication with your family, and knowing when to seek help is also very important. How do you show compassion to yourselves? Yes, a novel idea for type A's who are driven. How do you plan to remain perpetually stimulated and excited when your grades does not reflect the many hours of studies that you have dedicated to a particular area? What then? Keep the faith. Know that you have what it takes to succeed. The very wise Dalai Lama said, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. In essence, you must put your oxygen mask on first. Before you can show compassion to your family or practice compassion with your patients, you must first attend to yourselves. Plan time to mentally take a break, to rest, to recharge. Do not forget you in the process. In building your medical career, add the vital ingredient of compassion. Showing compassion takes time and practice. I urge you to start now. Put your heart into serving your patients. Be there for them when they need you, be it in the beginning of their life, midlife, or life's end. Compassion never fails. I am proud of you, Class 2017, and I know that you will represent America's medical school well. God bless you all.